On 3 Mile Island back in 1979, a reactor suffered a partial meltdown. It became the worst nuclear accident in American history, and for 40 years that name stood for everything people feared about nuclear power. Today, on that same island, a reactor is being switched back on. Not for a city, not for a hospital, for artificial intelligence. Now, to be fair, it is not the reactor that melted. It is its twin next door, a plant that ran quietly for decades and then shut down in 2019 because nobody needed the electricity anymore. Well, somebody needs it now. Microsoft has signed a 20-year deal to take everything that plant can produce, and a dead nuclear station is being pulled back to life to feed data centers. This is the strangest race in technology right now. The most advanced machines we have ever built are so hungry for power that the companies behind them are reaching into the past and reopening plants we were sure had closed forever. So why would a software company care about a power plant from the 1970s? Because an AI data center is not really a building full of computers. It is a building that eats electricity and turns it into answers, and the appetite is almost hard to picture. One of the newest campuses can ask for as much power as an entire city, somewhere around 1 gigawatt. Now add them all together. Data centers across America pulled about 23 gigawatts in 2023. This year, that has roughly doubled to over 40, and the forecasts push it past 100 gigawatts before 2030. The money is just as wild. Big tech is on track to spend something like $650 billion on AI data centers this year alone, and a single mega project called Stargate is aiming for 10 gigawatts of capacity at a price near $500 billion. The trouble is that the grid was never designed for a city-sized customer that shows up in 18 months. New power lines take years to approve and build. The giant transformers that move electricity around the network used to take about 2 years to deliver. Today, the wait can stretch to 5, so the tech giants stopped waiting for the grid and went shopping for power of their own. And the prize they all wanted was nuclear. It runs day and night. It does not care if the wind is blowing, and it makes no carbon, which keeps their climate promises alive. So the land grab began. Microsoft took 3 Mile Island. Google signed for brand new reactors in Tennessee, the first of their kind tied to a data center, and moved to revive a closed plant in Iowa. Amazon went biggest of all, locking in nearly 2 gigawatts from an existing nuclear station in Pennsylvania and funding a whole fleet of small reactors out in Washington state. In barely a year, nuclear went from a forgotten industry to the most fought-over resource in tech. But here is what the press releases never say out loud. Nuclear is the slowest power on Earth to build. Look at the last full-sized plant America actually finished, called Vogtle, down in Georgia. It took about 11 years to complete and cost close to $37 billion, more than double what was first promised. 11 years. In the AI world, where the models are replaced every few months, 11 years is forever. So the industry is selling a faster dream instead, the small modular reactor. And the pitch is seductive. Instead of one giant custom plant, you build small reactors in a factory, like appliances, and you snap them together on site. Google and Amazon are both betting heavily on this idea. There is just one problem. Almost none of them exist yet. Not a single commercial small modular reactor is putting power on the American grid today. The most famous attempt, by a company called NewScale, was cancelled in 2023 after its estimated cost nearly tripled. The reactors that Amazon and Google are paying for are not expected to switch on until around 2030, and that is only if everything goes to plan, which in nuclear it almost never does. Even the restarts, the quickest path of all, are not simple. Bringing 3 Mile Island back still needed a federal loan of about $1 billion to get moving, and there are only so many recently closed plants worth the trouble of reopening. So when you total it all up, nearly all of this exciting new nuclear power arrives at the very end of the decade, which leaves one deeply awkward question hanging in the air. If AI needs the electricity right now, and the nuclear does not show up until 2030, then what is actually keeping these machines running today? The answer is the part that never makes it into a glossy announcement. Gas. Built fast, and sometimes built quietly. The clearest example sits in Memphis, where Elon Musk's company xAI assembled one of the most powerful AI systems in the world, a data center called Colossus. To feed it, the company rolled in dozens of gas turbines, around 35 of them, together able to make more than 400 megawatts of power. According to the Southern Environmental Law Center, many of those turbines were running without the proper air permits in a neighborhood that already lives with some of the worst asthma rates in the country. Civil rights and community groups have formally challenged the permits that were later granted. Whatever a court eventually decides, the lesson reaches far beyond one site. When the clean option is a decade away, the thing that actually powers artificial intelligence today is fossil fuel and the wires we already have. And leaning on those wires is not free.
When a single data center plugs in and pulls a city's worth of electricity, the whole system has to be reinforced to stay stable. And that cost does not just disappear. More and more, it lands on ordinary households who are watching their power bills climb in exactly the regions where data centers are multiplying. The largest grid operator in the country has even warned that it could fall short of the power it needs within just a couple of years. So, yes, the clean nuclear future is real, but it is a story set in 2030. The story of right now is a gas turbine humming behind a fence, and a bigger number at the bottom of your electricity bill. So what do we make of all this? The nuclear revival is not a trick, and it is not nothing. It may turn out to be one of the best things artificial intelligence ever did for the world, by pouring billions into clean power that can run for generations. But we have to be honest about time. Right now, big tech is making two very different bets at the same moment. In public, it promises a clean nuclear future arriving around 2030. In private, it is burning gas and leaning hard on the old grid to keep the chips running this year. Both of those things are true at once. And the gap between them, between the announcement and the actual wire feeding the building, is where the real story lives. So the next time a tech company tells you it is going green with a shiny new reactor, ask the one question that truly matters. Not what did they announce, but what did they switch on today? Because the physical body of AI does not run on press releases. It runs on whatever can be plugged in fastest. And for now, that is almost never the clean answer they want you to picture. The reactors are coming. The real question is what we burn while we wait.